Hey, what's up, guys? Anthony here, and I just put out a tweet replying to Frank, my buddy Frank. Sorry, I'm like my brain's going a million miles an hour. My buddy Frank. I brought up the point that Lex Luthor in two films has created some sort of Kryptonian creature, and neither of them have been Bizarro or Superboy, as is usually done in the comics. They've been Nuclear Man and Bizarro, of all things. And so Frank basically said, like, yeah, Bizarro needs to happen, and I agree. I really like Bizarro as a character. And I really think Bizarro could have been Man of Steel too. And this is right off my head. This is just a ridiculous video because that's all my videos are, is for you guys, the fans of this guy, all six of you. So here's my idea for Man of Steel 2 just right now. So, after the events of Man of Steel, of course, Superman saves the day. He defeats Zod by snapping his neck, and it's just awful. It's like, oh man, we saved him, but everyone's afraid. So the government is freaking out because they're like, okay. So we got this guy. He saved the day, but it's terrifying. We need something to counteract this, and that's basically what like the new Suicide Squad movie is. Is they're like, what if Superman came to the White House and said, "Knock, knock, Obama," punch. So basically, that's what they're saying. They're like, okay, we have to come up with some sort of countermeasure to take care of this Superman because what if he is? And that's the kind of idea that they want to go for in this universe, and I think they could work with that. I think it's poorly handled in Batman vs Superman, but I think the idea of the government being like, can we trust Superman? Can be handled well. So they hire Lex Luthor of LexCorp. And so Lex is this, very smart guy. He's very charismatic in person. He's the kind of guy that pitches as more of this will be for science, of course. We aren't trying to kill a man. We are trying to protect the lives of innocent people. And that's what Lex is all about. He's not about world domination. He's not about evil scientist man. He's legitimately trying to protect the human race. He is, sees himself as the Superman, the brilliant man that is going to help project us into the future. And so he's going to use Kryptonian technology to kind of get us there. Yeah, do it. That's cool. That makes sense for Lex Luthor. And that's what they kind of did in the movie, but not really. So, of course, the government is giving him access to this stuff. And Superman at this time is having a really, really bad time because he killed a man. He basically destroyed any chance of getting back to Krypton. And so he has to deal with that. He has to come to terms. And there's this news, LexCorp working closely with government in order to combat Superman problem. And so Clark has to do his reporter skills and get to the bottom of this. And there's, scenes with him and Lois interacting with Lex Luthor. Very similar to stuff like in Secret Origin, almost. If you guys remember the book by Jeff Johns. Very similar stuff to that. And it's basically just confrontations between Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter Clark Kent, bumbling Clark Kent, not the smartest guy in the room, dealing with the smartest guy in the room, Lex Luthor, and the mouthiest woman in the world, Lois Lane. These people talking, and it's basically just a conversation of, is Superman worth it? Can he really save people? Eventually, there is an accident in the building, an experiment goes wrong, eventually Superman shows up and saves everybody, and so Superman's saving people, he's doing what he can, and he has to save, like, Lex Luthor, and so Lex Luthor is saved by Superman, and almost drives him even farther down this path of, like, he embarrassed me. He embarrassed me because Lex Luthor is an egotistical maniac deep down inside. Obviously, in front of the people, he's a charismatic leader, but deep down inside, it hurts him. Now even more, that this man that he is trying to combat and protect people against embarrassed him in such a way. And so he starts creating this clone, this failed clone. And that's actually what the experiment gone wrong really was. They get it covered up. They don't know exactly what was going on. But really, it's him creating Bizarro. And so Superman eventually, we're skipping way, way ahead, just to kind of break through this, because I'm not going to run down my whole idea. I'm just going to, right at the top of my head. So eventually Superman has to fight this basically monster version of himself. He has to fight an evil version of himself, essentially. And, he has to come to terms with the fact that, he can't kill this guy, and that's what it all comes down to, is that he can't kill Bizarro because it's a living creature now. He can't kill people anymore. It's not the Superman thing to do. So he eventually like knocks him out by taking him up into space to the point where he can't breathe, and he takes him to like a distant planet to sort of exist. And that's what we find, because that's usually the thing Superman does with Bizarro. I think he did that in the animated series. Takes him away. He can live peacefully on a new planet. Isn't that wonderful? It's great. Maybe if Dr. Hamilton didn't die, he could have assisted Superman in finding some distant planet. Or maybe if the Jor-El computer didn't die, he could have had help find. I don't know how he finds this distant planet. We'll figure out a way. Maybe he still has connections to something. Is the ship in like the art? Like, is that in the ice? Is that ship still there? I don't remember. Either way, eventually he comes back to Lex Luthor and they have a chat, and it's all just talking of Superman and Lex Luthor basically battling out their ideals. And we've had tons of action. Like I said, there's going to be a big action set piece where he saves people from LexCorp exploding and like a big action stuff going on there. There's going to be scenes of him fighting Bizarro, but it's really Superman saving people and, like I said, having a sort of battle of the minds against him. And that'll be pretty much, because he finds out that Bizarro was created by Lex Luthor, and he has this confrontation with him, and Lex outsmarts him, basically telling him of how, there's no way that you're ever going to put me away. I win this battle. You may have won the fight, but I'm going to win the war. Basically continuing their ongoing struggle between each other. So this video was a mess, but that is vaguely my idea for Man of Steel 2, featuring Lex Luthor and the fear of superheroes, and Superman sort of overcoming his problems from the first film, introducing Bizarro. Of course, I'd have characters like Jimmy Olsen in there, all that kind of cool stuff. So, yeah, don't waste the death of Superman in this second movie, I'm just saying. Alright, I don't know what this was. I'll see you later.